welcome back to the Crypto Saving Expert daily updates where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess, and today we are covering the weekend's news, seeing what's happening in the markets since we last discussed them on Friday. So let's take a look first of all at the Crypto Saving Expert website and take a look at CoinMarketCap. We have Bitcoin currently sat at $24,909. We've seen a 15% rise in the last week. And we also have Ethereum at $1,712. Again, a 15% rise in the last week. So it's not been too bad of a time to be in cryptocurrency in 2023. It's been amazing so far. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart here. You can see the RSI on the 4-hour chart is looking slightly overbought. The MACD is saying that we have bearish momentum, but it is starting to slow down. In the smaller time frames, we are seeing the same sorts of things. On the 2 hours, it looks like it's about to flick into bullish momentum on the MACD. I was just checking. I actually shared my screen with you today. So that's what we are looking at on the cryptocurrency charts. We'll take a deeper look into that at the end of today's stream. But we have some news to discuss today, and quite a lot of it as well, because we need to catch up on everything that happened over the weekend. So let's get started. First of all, we have the SEC accuses Do Kwon of transferring 10,000 Bitcoin from Terra's reserves and cashing out $100 million. So the SEC lawsuit has claimed this. Very interesting article to come out today. So Do Kwon helped create the Terra ecosystem with the algorithmic stablecoin UST, which depegged from the dollar back in May 2022 and caused Luna to fall 96% in just one day. This had a huge effect on the entire cryptocurrency industry. We saw $60 million being wiped off the cryptocurrency table. The idea of UST being an algorithmic stablecoin, I don't think is a terrible one. But the way that the reserves were used and when it started to fall, how they operated from then was the downfall. So the reserves were put into this ecosystem far too quickly, and it caused the whole thing to collapse. UST has never repegged, and that has had a negative effect on the industry. But as I said, the problems came from the way the reserves were used. It could have been that the peg was lost and then it was repegged using the reserves, but the reserves were put into circulation far too quickly. So this is what the problem we have seen here is. But now it's been announced that Do Kwon and Terraform Labs have since cashed out $100 million. And according to the 55-page court reports, Terraform Labs and Do Kwon transferred over 10,000 Bitcoin from the Terraform and Luna Foundation guard reserves to a cold wallet. And the SEC adds that the defendants are periodically moved Bitcoin from this wallet with an estimated $100 million cashed out through a financial institution based in Switzerland. So shocking news to come out here today. We can see here, if true, the allegations that Do Kwon and Terraform Labs moved 10,000 Bitcoin to a cold wallet and financially benefited from selling some of the Bitcoins will add weight to the claims by the SEC that the project was a fraud from the beginning. Now, UST has been labeled as a Ponzi scheme and all the rest of it since it's collapsed. It's so bizarre. It was one of the top 5 cryptocurrencies in terms of market cap, and now it's completely fell through the floor. It's very interesting to see. It was the first of many in 2022. It started that domino effect within the cryptocurrency industry where we saw Three Arrows Capital, Celsius, FTX all fall apart. And this was the first trigger in that downfall. Before we do forget on today's stream, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press that bell notification button so that you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. And if you haven't already, go and check out cryptosavingexpert.com, where we have the most reliable news source, guides, free cryptocurrency courses, and the best market data as well. We have everything for you all in one website. So if you haven't already, make sure to go to cryptosavingexpert.com and press that big blue button over here, fill in this detail, and don't forget to press that tick button there, and you will receive a newsletter every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. So that comes out tomorrow, recapping the latest cryptocurrency news and some other exciting pieces in there as well. But let's get back to the cryptocurrency news right now. This is what we're seeing for Do Kwon. Interesting to see. I'm sure we'll see more of this story unravel in the next couple of weeks. Let's take a look at this next article here. And here we have, here's why SBF's $250 million bail could be revoked. So we have seen an accusation. We spoke about this earlier in last week's streams. This says there may well be probable cause to believe that he has committed or attempted to commit a federal felony while on release, namely witness tampering or attempted witness tampering. The judge's comments were in response to a letter written by prosecutors on Wednesday seeking to impose a limit on SBF's use of electronic devices. We actually saw It says in this article, he may not be able to use VPNs now. And there is now a record before the court of a defendant who appears motivated to circumvent monitoring and find loopholes in existing bail conditions. So very interesting news to come from here. It'd be very surprising if SBF went back to jail. Honestly, nothing he does at this point surprises me. I've said this over and over again. He's impacted the space so negatively over and over again that now everything is just like, it's another thing he's done to cause the problems. Very interesting to see what happens here. The fact that SBF donated so much money to politicians puts him in a very good position, unfortunately. And that is just how the world works. So we can see, interesting to see how this plays out, whether he actually gets accused of this and whether his bail is actually revoked. He doesn't go to court until October, and some of those court dates have been pushed back. Very similar to what's happened in Mt. Gox. It'd be interesting to see how long FTX takes, because originally it seemed like things were moving pretty quickly. And now it seems like things are getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Interesting. We have some news about Mt. Gox today later in today's video. That is a case that has been going on for years and years and years in the cryptocurrency industry. We'll talk about that in just a second. But first, we have some news about Binance. We have mixed reports here. So first of all, we have a report alleges Binance had secret access to its US affiliates' funds. Interesting news here. On Thursday, Reuters said it reviewed the banking records and company messages of Binance US and found that over $400 million was moved from the exchange's account at Silvergate Bank in a questionable fashion. And they've said that the money was moved within the first quarter of 2021 to Merit Peak Limited, a trading company managed by Binance CEO CZ, without the knowledge of Binance US executives. And the CEO of the US exchange at the time was cited in the report saying that the transfers were unexpected and also asking where are those funds coming from. No explanation was tendered to address the transfers, only that Merit Peak was a vendor that facilitated trading. So very interesting here, obviously. Binance receives a huge amount of FUD every single time the markets go down. This FUD is very correlated to the negative moves in the markets. I think Binance are absolutely fine. I do think this is all FUD. And people spreading fear within the markets because maybe they didn't buy the dip when they should have done. But we can see here, it is clear that what eventually happened to the fund. However, Reuters argued that the unexpected money transfers indicate that Binance had control over the finance of Binance.us, which is supposed to be a separate entity. So just like FTX.us is separate to FTX, they are all separate entities, but they all operate under the same team. And we can see here, through the exchange reiterated having a relationship with Merit Peak, it said the market-making firm stopped all activity on the platform in 2021. Just some interesting news to come out here. We have some more news about Binance in the next two articles, so let's move on to these quickly. We have Binance considers ending US investments as regulatory scrutiny increases. We have seen CZ since shut down this rumor. We can see, according to a tweet CZ posted Friday evening, rumors about Binance retreating from the US businesses and delisting related cryptocurrencies are false. Now, this would be a huge, huge move for Binance if it were to happen. So it's good to hear that it's false. Citing people familiar with the matter, the report disclosed that Binance is also reviewing its venture capital investments in the US and is considering delisting tokens from any US-based projects, including Circle's stablecoin USDC. In addition, Bloomberg referred to a Friday 13th tweet, which CZ posted about Paxos, announced that it would cease the issuance of the USD-pegged stablecoin BUSD. Recall that Paxos is under scrutiny, so we've seen this. Paxos Paxos issue BUSD as the stablecoin token. They are no longer allowed to mint any more of those tokens for the foreseeable. But we can see here that Binance are not moving out of the US. This was all just FUD put into the industry. CZ stated, we pulled back on some potential investments or bids on bankrupt companies in the US for now. Seek permission first. So Binance actually cooperate with regulators very, very well. We saw last week that they were paying the fines that they needed to because they didn't operate according to regulations in their very early stages when it was a smaller team and they were working on building the software and weren't really looking at the regulations involved in a cryptocurrency exchange. But Binance are looking to pay all of those fines that they have so that they can move forward and operate in the correct way. They do try and regulate themselves in the best way possible. They are one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges. They have to, otherwise they'll just get ripped apart. So we do see them cooperating nicely, and I do think that they're just trying to do things in the best way possible, but delisting all US projects is something that CZ has ruled out of the question for now. Let's take a look at the next article, but before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press that bell notification button so that you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single day at 11 a.m. and sometimes we are joined by that Martini guy on here as well. But let's take a look at the next article here before we continue. We have the SEC finds Celtic legend Paul Pierce $1.4 million for promoting Ethereum Max tokens. I believe this is the token that Kim Kardashian, yep, here it is. She promoted this as well. She settled with the SEC for $1.26 million for promoting Ethereum Max. And now we have seen Paul Pierce receive $244,000 worth of EMAX tokens for his promotion on Twitter. Now he is being charged by the SEC. Very interesting things. Obviously, these people have a huge impact on the just retail investors that know nothing about cryptocurrency, also having an impact on the price of these assets. There's a whole discussion to be had here. Regulating things in this way is difficult. We can see here he tweeted a misleading screenshot of an account showing significant holdings of EMAX, which were allegedly in profit, without disclosing that his own personal holdings were in fact much lower than those in the screenshot. So very interesting there. Very interesting way of promoting the project. Let's take a look at the next article. We have the UK regulators to take action against unregistered crypto ATM operators in Leeds. So the UK banned cryptocurrency ATMs over a year ago, I would say. These were just like banking ATMs where you could go, input your cash, and they'd transfer Bitcoin to your wallet. It was a very easy way to do so, and then it was completely anonymous. A very safe way to get Bitcoin, but people were using it in malicious ways. So now they've banned all Bitcoin ETFs in the UK, but some Bitcoin ATMs are. Did I just say Bitcoin ETFs? I meant Bitcoin ATMs. Some are still floating around in the UK, and we can see here there are some in the Leeds area. So a joint operation with West Yorkshire's Police Digital Intelligence and Investigation Unit has visited and gathered evidence from several sites in Leeds about the illegally operated crypto ATMs. Now, these used to just sit in like a local corner shop. They'd have Bitcoin ATMs in them, but obviously now they are being banned. So they're being taken out. We can see here no UK firms or individuals are authorized to operate crypto ATMs as they are not registered with the regulator. This means all existing crypto ATMs in the region are illegal. Notably, the FCA previously wrote to all operators and hosts of such ATMs in March, warning them of the legal consequences of unregistered operations. The regulators are now revealed that it is working with other law enforcement agencies to disrupt and disable crypto ATMs. So that's what we're saying here. This is just because the transparency with ATMs is too much, I think. Because the blockchain is transparent, you can see every single transaction that takes place on the blockchain. When we are buying into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency assets right now, most of the cryptocurrency exchanges that are regulated in the UK require you to KYC, meaning you're attaching your identity to your wallet within that centralized exchange. And when you make transactions following that, it can still be traced back. So there is some way, if they have access to specific information, to find out who has ownership or who initiated the ownership of that cryptocurrency to begin with, and then following the flow of that Bitcoin on the blockchain or any other cryptocurrency for that matter. But using a Bitcoin ATM meant you didn't have that attachment, you didn't provide that KYC to that centralized exchange. Instead, you've just provided cash. And so there's no way of seeing where that Bitcoin initially came from, or from where that fiat initially came from, that first purchase, that Bitcoin. But very interesting topics here. Let's move on to the next one. We have loads of news to talk about today because it has just been the weekend and we've got the full weekend to catch up on. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe and press today's bell notification, the bell notification button, so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. And we also take a look at the markets every single weekday at 11 a.m. And sometimes we are joined by that Martini guy. We are the best cryptocurrency YouTube channel out there, and we are on a mission to grow to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And we won't stop these daily live streams until we do so, and after as well. We will not stop. But let's take a look at we are currently on 2,587 subscribers so far. So we are growing incredibly fast, and we are currently on What are we on? 17 likes for today's stream, but we have way more viewers than that. So please make sure to press that like button as well if you are enjoying today's stream. And if you're not as well, if you're not enjoying today's stream, still press that like button. My whole computer is just frozen. Right, okay, we are back in action. Let's take a look at this next article we have here. We have top Mt. Gox creditors choose to be paid in Bitcoin, reducing fears of a market sell-off. So Mt. Gox was one of the biggest Bitcoin exchanges back in the day, and it operated between 2011 to 2014, I believe. And at the start of 2014, it was responsible for over 70% of Bitcoin transactions. And then the whole exchange just went offline. So a lot of people held their Bitcoin on the exchange. There's been a huge amount of fuss over this for many, many years. You know, if you can see clearly, this began in 2014. Those users still have not received their funds back. It's looking like they could be receiving them shortly, but it's been looking like they could receive them for a very long time now. There's been a lot of fears about the selling pressure this could cause in the industry if those Bitcoin are released to the users. Now, these people, the users of Mt. Gox, are users that were involved in Bitcoin back in 2011, 12, 13, 14. They know what they've invested into by now. They will have seen the price of Bitcoin fluctuate for so long, and knowing that they can't access their tokens and they can't sell them. And they will have learned more about what Bitcoin is. Obviously, if they were in at that time anyway, they must be pretty smart people. So the sell pressure from these individuals shouldn't be too bad, in my opinion, but we have now heard that the top Mt. Gox creditors have chosen to be paid in Bitcoin rather than being paid in fiat. So this shows that they're not expecting to just get their Bitcoin and dump it into the open market. If they wanted the fiat, they just accept the fiat, but they want to be paid in Bitcoin, supposedly meaning that they want to hodl onto that Bitcoin for even longer. I mean, they've held through the swings of many multiple bull and bear markets so far. So why not hold on that little bit longer? We can see here as an estimated 141,000 Bitcoin is due for distribution to the exchange's creditors. Such a large amount of Bitcoin has caused market anxiety in the event of all of it was sold in the open market at one go by the Mt. Gox trustee to honor fiat creditors to payments to its creditors. So obviously, like with FTX, like with all the other bankruptcies that we've seen in 2022, when the creditors have to handle that company and understand how they can fix these problems, all these companies are going to Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So they're trying to reorganize their finances so that they can continue to operate. Now, with Mt. Gox, if they want to give those users back their funds and they all say they want it in fiat, Mt. Gox hold that in Bitcoin. So they'd have to dump all that Bitcoin into the market, liquidate all those assets so that they have liquid funds. We've seen this fear with different exchanges as well. We saw it with FTX, we saw it with Celsius, we saw it with 3 Hours Capital. These creditors have the funds and they need to have liquid assets. So to do so, they need to dump on different tokens. This has caused a lot of fear within Solana for the FTX exchange as well, because FTX held a huge amount of Solana tokens. If these creditors need liquid assets, they could just dump all that Solana onto the markets, causing a lot of fear and causing the price of Solana to dump massively. But we get this fear within the markets when creditors have huge amounts of cryptocurrencies because they have the ability to dump all of that. And they don't usually operate in the best financial manner. They will just dump it all in a market order all at once sometimes. But we can see here the part of the anxiety regarding the fate of the Bitcoin might have evaporated as 2 of the Mt. Gox top creditors have opted to receive their payment out in Bitcoin instead of fiat. The 2 main creditors are Mt. Gox Investment Fund and bankrupt New Zealand-based crypto exchange Bitcoinica, who represented about 20% of all Mt. Gox claims. The 2 entities have decided to receive 90% of their eligible claims in Bitcoin as part of an early bird settlement. Had they preferred fiat-based payouts, the Mt. Gox trustee would have been forced to sell part of 141,686 Bitcoin and 142,000 Bitcoin cash in their custody to honor the cash payments. Once approved, Mt. Gox Investment Fund and Bitcoinica will receive the payout on September the 30th this year. Supposedly, it's very likely this gets pushed back. It has been pushed back multiple times before, so I wouldn't be shocked if it got pushed back again. The top 2 creditors also have until March 10th to confirm their decision for the September payout or wait longer to recover a higher percentage of their claims. Now, I expect right now they just want to see some of those funds back. Since 2014, they've watched the price of Bitcoin be incredibly volatile well, seeing those new highs, making those all-time highs, and not having access to their own funds to decide what to do with it for themselves. And this outlined at the very start of Bitcoin the importance of self-custody, using your own wallets, using cold storage, and not trusting centralized exchanges. But this is what we have seen here for many, many years. I expect that update to be pushed back again and again and again. We have seen it many times before. Moving on to the next article though, but before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe and press that bell notification button. You are going to be sick of hearing that from me, but we need to help the algorithm get as big as possible. We are currently on 21 likes for today's stream. Again, we have many more viewers than that, so please make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already. Let's take a look here. El Salvador is going to open a Bitcoin embassy in the US, specifically in Texas. Now, they already have an embassy open in Switzerland, but they are now opening one in Texas. And you can see here the news comes amidst reports that Texas is planning to pass a new bill seeking to establish a comprehensive crypto regulatory framework, and that will help position the state as the crypto capital of the country. So this is the kind of news we like to see on this live stream. We want to see this positive news. We want to see regulatory framework coming into place that is helping the adoption of cryptocurrency and allowing cryptocurrency companies to grow in new jurisdictions. And when new crypto regulatory framework is published and utilized in different jurisdictions, we often see other jurisdictions just kind of have a copy and paste of this. If it works well in one place, they'll just kind of steal that regulation and use it themselves. So this hopefully is what we see. This new regulation for cryptocurrency is required. We are seeing different jurisdictions tackle it in different ways, but those that are successful are the ones that will perform well, and those that are not successful are the jurisdictions that will fall behind. Very exciting news to be said here. Obviously, El Salvador has Bitcoin as legal tender and is trying to help the cryptocurrency asset grow in many other jurisdictions as well. Let's continue with today's news. Thank you, everybody who is commenting in the chat. Hamzak is saying adoption. Monkey Nuts is saying morning, everybody. Honestly, I really enjoyed that the same people tune into these streams every single day. It's nice to see some familiar faces in the chat. Let's continue with today's stream, though. We have a former FTX employee-owned charity foundation made millions through FTT sales. Now, this is probably the most interesting article we have in today's stream. I've just taken a read of this, and it's very, very interesting. We have a Switzerland-based charity organization, previously known as the Center of Emerging Risk Research, generated millions of dollars in profit by selling FTX tokens, FTT, it received from one of its co-founders, a former executive at the now defunct crypto exchange FTX. So FTT is the actual token of FTX. FTT was used to pay lower transaction fees for holders of FTT token, etc., just like BNB for Binance is. According to a Wall Street Journal report on February the 14th, Donnelly, who worked at Alameda Research before joining FTX as the chief of staff in 2019, received his salary in FTT before the token was listed publicly for trading. So SBF, the founder and former FTX, there's so many letters. The CEO was SBF was awaiting trial for fraud and other crimes after the company's fall in November 2022, and offered to pay early employees in FTT as $0.05 per token. Donnelly agreed to the deal and received approximately 11.2 million tokens as payment for his salary of $562,000. He also demanded that the assets be donated by Polaris Ventures as a grant. And six months after the donation in 2019, FTX made the token available to the public to trade at $1. So that is immediately a 20x on those tokens. He capitalized on the listing and sold off his entire holdings worth around $20 million. And he continued working for the exchange. Using the profits generated from the sale, the foundation diversified its portfolio by investing in other firms, particularly in fields related to the artificial intelligence and research on altruism. A year later, in 2020, Donnelly resigned from Alameda and FTX to focus on his charity, Polaris. The foundation participated in fundraising for Anthropic, a software development company launched by an early employee at OpenAI, the creator of the new artificial intelligence technology ChatGPT. So let's take a look at down here. What we can see here, Polaris FTT does not belong to FTX. With the FTX filing for bankruptcy in the United States last year, the lawyers overseeing the case are looking for the company's financial statements before its collapse. Meanwhile, Donnelly's attorney, Jason P.W. Halperin, has clarified that the funds Polaris received did not belong to FTX. He disclosed that the tokens the charity received from the company were Donnelly's unpaid wages. To be absolutely clear, the FTT that Mr. Donnelly directed to be donated on his behalf to Polaris was not FTX's funds. So we've seen in recent weeks that FTX's funds are being recouped from many different ways. Even like they've donated to politicians, those funds are being asked to be sent back. We are seeing them trying to retrieve all of those funds that they sent in different directions so that they can use those liquid assets to try and recover the company in some way. There is a new CEO of FTX who has said he's not ruled out the option of creating FTX as rebranding, not even rebranding FTX, just making the FTX company a cryptocurrency exchange once again. He said that's not out of the question. So they're trying to recoup all of the funds possible so they can reorganize their finances and see how FTX can continue as a business. So they're trying to get all of these different donations back. So this is why it's really, really important that Polaris's FTT does not belong to FTX, because if it does belong to FTX, they'll be trying to get all of those funds back. So they're saying that it is an unpaid salary that's been donated to this company instead. If it's not, they'll be wanting those funds back. So that's the conversation that's being had over there. I feel like I really overcomplicated that then, sorry. Stephen said, great to see website got an update, was able to complete few courses, more to come. Brilliant. It's nice to hear people are using the website and taking advantage of those free courses. Some of those courses have some video content in them as well, filmed by yours truly. You can see here. If you are new to the site and you want to understand what the site is about, take a look at the most reliable cryptocurrency news. We have some guides here as well. And then if you want to see how the course section works, just go over to the cryptocurrency courses. And there's a nice video here to explain what it is. Within that Crypto 101 section, there's loads of small courses in that don't take you too long to complete. You can see 20 minutes, 15 minutes. They've all got some videos involved in them as well if you prefer video format, or there's some text format in there as well. You complete those courses. There's a small quiz at the end of each chapter, and then you can level up, but you can get an explanation of how that works over here. Once you sign up, you can get access to all of those, and you get a little dashboard that you can see all of your points racking up on. It's just a little bit of an incentivize, a little way to incentivize users to continue with those courses and become crypto saving experts. But back to this news anyway. If I just lost the news note, here we are. So maybe this will very interesting to see that he was paid in FTT tokens at 0.05 cents dollars, and then it was listed at $1. That is an instant 20x. That is crazy, and that is the sort of things that we see within the cryptocurrency industry. Let's take a look at the next article. We have crypto exchange OKX to launch new blockchain OKB chain in Q1 of this year. Sharing the news on Twitter, the company founder Starzu said that the protocol would be designed to function separately from OKX chain, a cross-chain bridge that allows developers to deploy dApps across other ecosystems without restrictions. They've said OKB chain is an open source proof of stake blockchain built with the community's trust to encourage the development of an OKB decentralized ecosystem. Unlike OKX chain, the new protocol will be wholly backed by the Seychelles based crypto exchange. Let's take a look at let's take a look over here. What is the OKX tokens ticker? Do we know? I don't know this off the top of my head. Let me give that a little Google. OKX token and see what comes. Oh, OKEX it is, isn't it? OKEX. Do we have the coins on here? No, we don't. Let's take a look. Right, just give me a second. We'll see how the price has reacted to this news today, because I expect that it could have affected it pretty nicely. Let's get on to Coin Market Cap and see what we are looking at. The competition. We shouldn't be looking at the competition here, but let's take a look at how this has affected. No, it doesn't even have it on here either. Anyway, we'll take a look at that, and we'll come back with that for tomorrow's stream. Let's take a look at the next article we have here. Helium network migration to Solana set for the 27th of March. Very interesting news here. I'm not a fan of Solana anymore. We've seen a huge tank in the price of Solana. How has Solana performed? We can definitely search that and see how that has performed in recent weeks. I expect it has seen an okay price movement because the whole of the market's performed okay since 2023 began. We can see here it's at $26. Still not got back to where it was pre-FTX collapse. FTX collapsed over here. You can see it had a significant impact on the price of Solana because FTX hold a huge amount of Solana tokens. Solana in itself isn't necessarily the worst project ever. I was an investor back down here prior to the 2021 bull run. Had some nice profits from Solana. Took advantage of those profits. The fact that FTX hold a huge amount of those tokens, though, is a thing to be fearful about. As I said before, creditors want liquid assets, so they will dump onto the markets, market orders, and tank the price. And when this news came out over here about FTX, I shorted this token massively because it was pretty much a no-brainer. Now we are seeing a little bit of recovery, but we have seen NFT projects since this FTX collapse moving from the Solana blockchain. I'm not sure what the future of Solana holds. It's not something that I'm taking advantage of right now. I think within the cryptocurrency markets, you don't need to take advantage of every opportunity. There are so many opportunities out there. And something that I did wrong in 2021 was try and take advantage of every opportunity. I would fear the fear and I would fear the FOMO and I'd want to be involved in everything. But the best strategy is just to realize that there's so many other opportunities out there. If you miss one or you don't think that something is the best option to go down, you don't have to take advantage of it. You can't get FOMO from every single altcoin there is. But we can see here that we do have a slight move to the upside. I'm not 100% interested in Solana right now, so it's not something that I'm taking advantage of. But let's take a look. Somebody is saying that it is OKB. Let's see if we can search that on here. Yep, it wasn't the Crypto Saving Expert's fault. It was my own fault. We can see we have seen a massive pump to the upside in the last couple of days. We can see in 2023, I always do this. I try and look on there, and then I need the measurement tool. I wonder if we can add the measurement tool to the site. I'm going to ask that straight after today's stream. Let's take a look at the daily chart, and we can see here on the 2023 from the start to where we are now, we've seen a 104% increase this year. Obviously, that news has positively impacted the price there as well. Let's take a look anyway at this news about Solana. I haven't even shared the news. I've just spoke about my own opinions on Solana. Nothing here is financial advice. I just like to discuss my own opinions sometimes. We can see that the Helium network migration to Solana is set to be the 27th of March. The point of everything I've just said is that many projects decided to move off of the Solana network after FTX's collapse. But we are now seeing migration onto the Solana network as well. Currently, if we take a look at market cap, if we go back to the market section of the Crypto Saving Expert website, Solana is sat down at 11th. Now, that isn't too bad. In terms of market cap, it's still sat pretty high despite that move, strong move to the downside. Another thing completely off topic that always shocks me is that XRP is still sat so high. XRP is 6th in terms of market cap. And now this has been in a lawsuit for literally months, I mean, more than a year by now. And it's still at 6 in terms of market cap. It's still performing well. That XRP army is incredibly strong. But that's just a complete off-topic thing I would like to add in today's conversation. That is all we have for the cryptocurrency news today. We've whizzed through that today. It's only taken us 35 minutes to do so. Thank you, everyone who just let me know what token that was in the chat. My mind completely went blank. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart now, because we just took a quick look at that at the start of today's stream. And we can see what's going on here. We're taking a look at the 1 hour chart. You can see we are in, I would actually call this a what's the word? Ascending triangle. Now, usually it would be, I would say that is a pretty parallel line. We are looking at currently a level of resistance at $25,190. We have a level of support down at $24,000. Now, we also could draw these lines here and see that technically, if we zoomed in really, really closely, could have been a breakout, but I like to wait for that wick to be broken out of at $25,170. As I've said over and over again on this channel, if we take a look at the weekly chart, we don't have many levels of support or resistance between this point here, the $25,250 level, and this point here at $28,850, because on the way up, if I just zoom out now so you can see on the daily chart, on the way up, we shot up through that. And on the way down, we shot down through that. So we haven't had much price consolidation within these points. We also have a CME gap sat up at $28,000. So that's a pretty strong magnet up there. Oh, whoops. With no real levels of resistance to try and break through on the way up. So we could see a pretty sharp move to the upside. We did actually report in Crypto Saving Experts news section, let's find where we have, that the stock to flow creator, Plan B, over on Twitter, where are we? We are over here, here we go, has said that he could see us move from $24,000 to $42,000 in just 2 weeks. And this has actually happened before, between the 25th of December 2020 and the 8th of January 2021. So we could actually see a huge move to the upside. Now, not many people follow Plan B anymore. I mean, they still follow him on Twitter, but not many people know Plan B. Everyone used to be a big fan of him in 2021. He created the stock to flow model. I don't know if he still has this pinned on his account. We can take a look and see if he does. Let's take a look over on Twitter at Plan B and see if he's still got. I'm causing a mess. I'm causing a mess. Discord, what's going on? Here we go. Plan B, you can see he has not pinned his stock to flow model anymore. We can have a look. He does a lot of chart analysis, essentially. He created the stock to flow model. Bitcoin followed it perfectly in 2021, and then it didn't. And then everybody hated Plan B all of a sudden because he had price predictions for the last bull run to be up at over $100,000. And Bitcoin followed his price predictions pretty perfectly, and then they didn't, and everyone hated him. Me and Jordan spoke about this on Friday's stream. It's funny how many people turned on him. Patterns work until they don't. And in my personal preference and my experience, I have learned that following patterns is a profitable strategy, and just accepting that one day they may fall apart is absolutely fine. But those that try and trade based on a pattern breaking prior to it breaking are the ones that miss out. I believe anyway. That's how I found it works. I follow patterns, and if it doesn't work, that's fine, because I followed them for so long anyway that I'm still profitable overall. But trying to decide when a pattern is going to break is a very risky strategy, in my opinion. Obviously, it depends on the strategy, but that is the decision I have come to. This is what we are looking at. Obviously, we have a strong level of resistance set at $25,230 as well. If we break to the upside of this, it will be very, very exciting. We are seeing that we have an ascending triangle, which has a higher probability of breaking to the upside to the downside, because what we can see here is some price. We have the end of this triangle being on Sunday this week. Yes, this week. So it'll be interesting to see how this week unfolds. I expect to break out way before then. We're looking on the 4-hour chart. I am a 4-hour candle trader. But this is what we are looking at. We also have some levels of support. We can see over here, we have a level of support clearly at $24,250. We have levels of $23,500. We also have previous levels of resistance that could act as a support, and that would be around the $23,925. So we've got many levels, and that has also actually acted as a support recently as well. So we've got many levels of support to look at here. I'm very excited to see if we can break through that $25,250 level, because we've spoke about that a lot on the channel in the last couple of weeks, and to see us this close to that, it's getting pretty exciting. As I said, no real levels of support until $28,800. So that CME gap up there could be closed this week or next week. Interesting to see, though. We may get a strong rejection or we may break through it, but I am waiting to see that candle close above that level before I make any decisions and move any of my trades. But that is what we are looking at right now. I think that is all for today's stream. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, if you have enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe and press that notification button. Liking these streams are incredibly important because it helps with the algorithm and helps us grow the channel as much as possible. Also, if you have any friends that want to get involved in the cryptocurrency space, what's a better way than just listening to the news every day? So make sure to send them our streams as well. And finally, one last thing to mention, go over to cryptosavingexpert.com, check out the best and most reliable cryptocurrency news courses and guides, and also the latest market data as well. And don't forget, we have that newsletter being published at 11 a.m. every single Tuesday. So tomorrow, if you go to that sign up button, make sure to tick that box. You will get that newsletter every single Tuesday, and you'll receive tomorrow's newsletter as well. So don't miss out on that. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all back here tomorrow.